Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is the end of quarter one and therefore it is time to look through my empties, see what I used up, what I've taken out of my collection, and then update my inventories and my goals. So let's do the first part of that in today's video, which is looking at what I have used up across hair, makeup, skincare and perfume. Starting with perfume, I finished one product. It was this little vial which did have Guerlain's Queer Beluga in it. Absolutely beautiful scent. It's got a kind of vanilla to it, so if you're into that vanilla trend that's around in fragrance at the moment, this one does have that, but it's sophisticated. It's got a leather element to it, but it's quite a sweet soft leather. It's not like, you know, there's no oud or rose, which I feel like are quite often mixed in with a leather scent. It's one of my absolute favourites and I do have the full size of this. So I'd been holding on to this little travel vial and then kind of had to say to myself, like, what are you holding on to this for? You've got the full size, you've got other travel size perfumes that you could travel with if need be. So yeah, I just decided to enjoy it, finish it up and get it knocked out. So this gives me $7.20 towards my empties total for quarter one, and that was the entire empties total for my perfume inventory. Onto makeup, I have 7 items that I used up from my makeup inventory. So starting in the order that I put them in my face, I used up a primer. This was the Sculpted by Amy Beauty Base Protect. So this was one that has SPF in it. I think Sculpted by Amy do primers so well. They never pill. They give me a really even canvas. They do seem to make my makeup last a little bit longer. I have quite a lot of primers in my collection at the moment. I have a primer usage goal in place for this year, so I won't be buying any more primers anytime soon, but once I've used up what I've got, I definitely would go back to this. I think it's a really good one. I've also got 2 foundations to knock out. First of all, from my project pan, which I've just posted the finale of, this was the NARS All Day Luminous foundation. You can't get this anymore, so there's not really too much point in me going into it. And the other one that I used up was the Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade Shell. This was a little sample size. I find with Double Wear I need to mix Shell and I think it's Alabaster maybe is the other colour. It's like I need to mix the neutral with the cool to get the kind of right tone. This is just a little too cool on its own. So I think just on the basis that I don't want to have to buy 2 to be mixing them together, I'm probably not going to buy the full size of this, but it is a foundation that I had in the past and really liked for years before they sort of tweaked the colours, because unfortunately the tweak might have worked for other people, but it did not work for me. Next up, again from my project pan, I have the Fresh Sugar Caramel Lip Balm. This I really like. The only thing is because it was in a pot, I did have to use it with a brush, which made me slightly less inclined to reach for it versus something that's in a squeezy tube or like in a stick that I can just apply without needing a tool. As an individual product, I did really like this, and if I had it again, I would quite happily use it up again. Another project pan item, my Lisa Eldridge lip gloss. This was in the shade Ribbon. I have quite a small mouth, so I feel like dark coloured lip glosses, this was a bright red one, are a little bit dangerous for me, so I don't think I would be repurchasing this. I used it almost more as a lip treatment because it did have quite a lot of oils and things in it, so I would use it in the house at night rather than wearing it to go out and about during the day. Like the formula, but definitely too much of a risk having a colour like this in a lip gloss for me. I also finished up my MAC brow pencil. This is in the shade Penny. This has been discontinued, so there's not really too much point in me talking about it, but I do really like it, and I did manage to get another one at an outlet just before Christmas, so I have another one and I'm hoping to get back to the outlet reasonably soon, and I'm hoping they may have some more of them, because if you have red hair like myself, this is a really good colour. Last but not least, I finished up a mascara. This was a CoverGirl one. As you can see, all the writing has rubbed off. According to my inventory, this was the CoverGirl Supersizer mascara, which I can't get in the UK, but I definitely would buy this again if I was back in the US anytime soon. I would definitely pick this up. I am a mascara smudger and this did not smudge on me. It gave me very nice long separated lashes, which I am very into. In total for my makeup, I used up 7 items worth $120.41 in quarter one. On to hair care, I did actually use up quite a few products here across a few categories, so I'm quite pleased with how quarter one went for hair care. Starting off, I finished up the Philip Kingsley Elasticizer. So this is a pre-shampoo treatment. Overly back-combed or styled or processed it puts a bit of bounce back into your hair. Reportedly originally made for Audrey Hepburn, but the pedigree of it aside, it is also just a really good product. It does what it promises to do, it delivers, and I really like it, and I definitely will purchase it again. I also do really like a pre-shampoo product in that you are getting that conditioning done to your hair, but then you're washing it out, so your hair feels really light and clean at the end. It doesn't feel weighed down. So any of my fellow fine-haired humans out there, this is one to look into if you haven't already. I used up 2 sachet samples, which I count as being worth $1 each, so the Olaplex shampoo and conditioner. I really like these. I am definitely going to get Olaplex in the full size back into my life. I'm not desperate for it at the moment. I think it's maybe something that I'll ask for my birthday or whatever, because it's not till July, but also I can't believe that I'm already filming my Q1 empties, so I feel like really July is not actually that far away in the scheme of things, so I feel like I can wait for my birthday, but I definitely do want these to come back into my life in the full sizes at some point. I find this a really nice sort of nourishing range. I'm usually all about the volume. I'm quite dedicated to the range that the next product is from, and that's what I've been using to shampoo and condition my hair, which I really enjoy. But sometimes I do just want something that feels a little bit more nourishing, and when my hair needs that, Olaplex definitely ticks that box. So this is something that I will definitely be bringing a full size of back into my life in the near future. What I have been using at the moment is the Philip Kingsley. This is the bodybuilding range. I have got the shampoo and this was the conditioner. I obviously finished this during Q1. I have repurchased this and supersized it at the same time. Again, if you've got fine hair, you want volume, you want body, you want movement, and you want to be able to condition your hair without sacrificing all of that, this bodybuilding range is great. It just leaves my hair feeling so lightweight, not like that squeaky clean horrible kind of way, but just really clean, really fresh, like there's no product in it at all, which is sometimes when I use something a little bit heavier, my hair feels a little bit gunky for a while no matter how well I rinse it, so I really like this range. Speaking of slightly heavier, I used up a hair mask. So this was from Amika. It was the Dream Routine Overnight Hair Mask. I actually used this up through my project pan, so I won't talk about it too much here because you've all heard me go on about it. But it is in my empties and I definitely would repurchase this. I finished up this. I know it looks like there's product around the side, but I cannot get that out. I've left this sitting upside down for over a month and like that product's not trickling out to even let me like just scoop it out by hand. But this is the It's a 10 Miracle Leave-In product. I absolutely love this. So it's called It's a 10 because it does 10 things, but essentially it detangles the hair and it also puts heat protectant in place, as well as all this other stuff. But really what I'm about is the detangling and the heat protectant aspects. I have gone through many bottles of this. If you're a regular viewer, you will know I have got quite a few blow dry balms, and I'm going to try and use a lot of them up this year, which means I will not be repurchasing this straight away because a lot of them do a lot of the same jobs as this. The only thing they won't really do is the detangling, but I do have a detangler, so I will use that on its own and then be able to use my blow dry balms for the heat protecting and the nourishment, etc. that this sort of provides. I definitely prefer that in this kind of setup, like a spray in, that I don't need to be putting something in my hands and working it through my hair and could like really easily go overboard. I really like this, so I definitely will repurchase it, but again, not in the immediate future because I need to work through some of my other products that I would always reach for this over if I had this back in my life immediately. So I will need to do without for a while, but I definitely will return to this. It also gives me like proper nostalgic vibes. I feel like this was a big YouTube product about 15 years ago and you couldn't get it in the UK, so everyone would go to America for it. Back before YouTube was really that common as a full-time job or anything. This product just reminds me of that time and watching like OG YouTubers and doing their vlogs and doing their Sephora hauls. So yeah, I just have a lot of nostalgic feelings around this product. I also finished up a hair oil, the Charlotte Mensa one. I am really pleased to have finished this up because this leaves me with only one hair oil in my collection, which I'm very pleased about. If you were looking for a recommendation for one, I did really like this. It smells really good. I felt like it kept my ends quite nourished and it didn't leave them feeling kind of weighed down or overly oily basically, so I would recommend this one. And then speaking of blow dry balms, I've got 2 of them. So the first is again from that Philip Kingsley bodybuilding range, and the second is the IGK Mistress. So I would use this when I was actually blow drying my hair. This was almost more like a hair oil. I would put this through the ends, or sometimes what I would even do is put this on at night when my hair was dry the day before I was going to get it washed. and just use it almost sort of overnight treatment. So I didn't always use this one as a blow dry balm. I just don't love this setup. I don't love something I have to like get on my hands and work through my hair. I would always prefer something like this that I would spray in and brush through. So blow dry balms are just not my favourite product, but if you're really into them, I do think these both delivered on what they promised, which is that this one gave my hair like sort of volume and body, and this one gave my hair nourishment. I think they did their job. This just isn't really for me as a way of using product. I will make an exception when it's something really, really good, which this is. So this is the Aveda Botanical Repair Bodybuilding Styling Creme. Now, I do not really use this as a blow dry balm the way that I would use those products. What I do with this is if I am doing a wet set. So if I'm putting my hair in rollers and I'm going to sleep in it and I'm just going to let that set in and dry itself, this is the styling product that I use to make my hair hold. I have tried so many styling products with wet sets and my hair does not ever want to hold to style really, but it does it when I use this. So I really, really like this for that very specific job of wet sets. So that is the one time that I will take something that I have to squeeze onto my hands and work through my hair. And last but not least, I finished up my dry shampoos, the Batiste Overnight Deep Cleanse. Now, I really, really like the IGK Charcoal Dry Shampoo, but I feel like Space NK have stopped stocking it. I couldn't get it, so I got this as an alternative. I really, really like it. It's, if you like the IGK Charcoal Dry Shampoo, this is a more budget-friendly alternative. Do use it the night before, spray it in, sleep on it, and you wake up and you look like you've washed your hair, even if you haven't. So really, really recommend this one. Also really good for the gym if you want to put it in before doing a class that you're going to get really sweaty in. A little bit of this pre-class, you'll come out of the class with your hair still intact. So really, really like this and have replaced this with itself, just repurchased the same one. Altogether, for my hair care usage in quarter one, I used up 11 items worth $138.99. Onto my skincare category, always the biggest category, always what I use the most of. Start off with my serums. I used up 3 serums during quarter one. First of all, Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair. I have been a devotee of this for absolutely years. I feel like this just makes my skin better. If my skin's ever kind of breaking out or having an allergic reaction, it helps to calm it down. It doesn't do anything too advanced, despite the name, ironically. In my humble opinion, you know, it's not full of like acids, it's not doing anything instant or anything like that. But when I have this consistently in my routine, my skin just looks better. You know, I've tried cutting out a few times because I don't think it does anything absolutely groundbreaking. But when I don't have it there, my skin just doesn't look quite as good. And because my skin is very reactive and sensitive and problematic, the fact that this is just always a fail-safe just makes it invaluable for me. So this is one of the sort of premium skincare products that I have had for a long, long time and will continue to pay for. Another product that falls into that category as well is this from Kiehl's. So this is their Hydro Plumping Serum Concentrate. So it's a hydrating serum, but that plumping aspect really is evident here. Again, I have sort of tried to cut this out a few times, get more sort of affordable hydration serums, and I feel like they do hydrate my skin. You know, as an alternative, I could definitely find something to do the hydration. But again, this doesn't irritate my skin. I can take this right up around my eyes, which is where I really benefit from it. And there is no irritation. It does just make my skin look plumper in a way that I've tried other serums, you know, like more budget ones from The Ordinary and whatever, that do absolutely hydrate my skin. And I can't complain from that point of view. But this hydrates my skin and makes it look sort of plumped up and juicy in a way that just no other serum ever does. So again, finish this up and definitely will have it back in my life. I've got a few of those more sort of basic hydrating serums to use, so I will use them up first before repurchasing this, but I definitely will repurchase this. I've been through countless bottles of this. I'm really quite loyal to it, despite the fact I keep trying other things, I keep trying to save my money. But this is one of those products that I think for me, I just have to accept is worth paying that premium price tag to get. One of those more budget-friendly hydration serums that I had in my collection that I used up after I'd finished the Kiehl's one is this one from Innisfree. This is their Green Tea Seed Hyaluronic Serum, and pretty much what I just said about most budget alternatives to that. This did absolutely hydrate my skin, didn't react to it, and I did like it from that point of view, but it just didn't give my skin the sort of plumpness that the Kiehl's one does. So I would definitely go back to the Kiehl's one before I would repurchase this. On to moisturisers. I used up 3 moisturisers. First of all, this one from Soap & Glory. I got this in a gift set I think last Christmas. It had a day cream and then this is the night cream. The day cream slightly irritates my skin if I take it too close to my eyes. I think the fragrance in it is just a little bit much, but the night cream I really enjoyed. I would definitely repurchase this, not least of all because I really like this packaging. So this has that kind of packaging that is like when it's got product in it, you push it down and it comes up here, so it's completely air free. You know, you're not dipping your fingers into a pot, you're not exposing the product every time you take the lid off, which I just think is absolutely the best packaging. I kind of don't understand why all creams aren't in this packaging really. So I really like the packaging, and I did really like this product as a night cream, and it's from Soap & Glory, so it wouldn't be that expensive to buy, I don't imagine. So I would very definitely consider repurchasing this in the future. I finished up this from SPR, Anti-Irritation Barrier Cream. This was alright. I mean, it probably is what you want if you want a sort of something for really sensitive skin, which is what this brand kind of specialises in as far as I can tell. It moisturised my skin without itching it and without irritating it. But it definitely wasn't the most sort of luxurious product to use, you know, in terms of the texture of the actual cream. I didn't feel it went into my skin very well. I felt like I was there sort of waiting ages for it to absorb. It felt quite thick, quite unctuous, which some people may like, but I think for me this just wasn't the nicest, so quite glad that I finished it and I don't think I would repurchase it. And lastly, I finished up this little deluxe sample size of the Barbara Sturm face cream. This was absolutely fine, but I'm sure the full size is very expensive, so I don't think I'll be purchasing the full size anytime soon. For SPF, I finished the Ultraviolet. This is the Supreme Screen Hydrating Facial Sunscreen, and I have repurchased this, and again I have actually supersized this. So this was the 50ml, and it does come in, I can't quite remember, a 100ml maybe, the bigger one, or whatever it is. I've bought the bigger size because I really like this. I am quite oily, so I did find this hydrating enough for me. I don't know if you're drier, if you might need something more like a moisturiser then to use this, but for me as an oily skin person, this was a really good both moisturiser and SPF in one. I found it hydrating enough for my skin, but like light enough that I didn't feel greasy. I feel like it absorbed into my skin really well. Really liked it, so as I said, have repurchased it and went for the bigger size. I finished up 2 eye products, both single-use masks. Patchology firming eye gels, these were fine, and then the Boots. This is the Brightening Vitamin C Boots Own range. My friend who had a baby last year actually recommended these, and I kind of thought, somebody with a newborn baby is not getting a lot of sleep. If they're recommending like a brightening under eye product, I'm going to listen to that. So I did, and yeah, I really like this. I think these are like $2.50 or something like that, but they're usually on some kind of offer. Definitely repurchase this. I definitely saw like an instant brightening effect. As I always say with like, you know, sheet masks or things like that, it is, yes, it's instant, but it is temporary. You know, it's before a night out or an event or something like that. It's not, you know, you'd need to be doing this every single day. You know, going through a packet a day to make it last, which is obviously not feasible really. Well, I mean, maybe it is if you've got absolutely nothing else to do with your time and spend your money on, but $2.50 a day just on under eye patches twice a day would start to add up. I think you'd be much better buying just a normal eye cream to use every day. But before an event or something like that, definitely would recommend these. Face masks and sheet masks, I finished this, or I say finished, I used this from Garnier. This is the hyaluronic acid sheet mask. I actually got a little set at Christmas that had micellar water, this, and then the hydrating serum, which is the serum I'm going to start using now. So that's the budget hydration serum that I'm currently on. I really like this mask. Again, it's temporary, it's a sort of instant effect. We're very much into it before a night out or whatever, but you know what you're signing up for with it. But I think, you know, Garnier, the price point is what you want to be at for a sort of one-use sheet mask that's instant but temporary. So I'm very happy at this kind of price point for that kind of thing, and I'm sure I will have more of them in the future. I also used up 4 other face masks. This is the Kiehl's anti-pollution mask. Now, I have no idea what it was doing for pollution or not, but it was very hydrating, and I really liked how it made my skin look, and it also smelled really good. I have quite a lot of face masks still to use up, so I'm not going to be rushing to repurchase it, but I feel like I could repurchase it at some point in the future. Definitely will repurchase is this one. This is the Sisley express hydration masks. So I've talked before, I think, about the Sisley Black Rose mask, the overnight one, but this is the sort of 10-minute one, blue one. They are great, such a high price point, but I do think Sisley do masks so well. I used up the Origins ginseng mask. This was in my project pan and it has been discontinued, so I'm not going to talk about it. And last but not least, the fourth mask I used was this Soho Skin one. So this was called the 24/7 treatment. I didn't notice this doing anything too miraculous for my skin, but it did smell very nice. I very much enjoyed the sensory experience of using this, but I don't think I would rush out to repurchase it. The last sort of facial thing that I used was Dr. Barbara Sturm, the facial scrub. I feel like I've had quite a lot of the Barbara Sturm products in terms of samples. I don't think I've ever purchased one. And I feel like they're quite expensive and I'm never blown away by them. Like, they always deliver. Like, I've never really had a bad one and I've never had a bad reaction to one. But I've never been absolutely wowed by one and been sort of inclined to go purchase it off the back of having a sample or trial size or whatever. And this was the same. It was a nice facial scrub, but I didn't think it did anything outstanding for whatever the price of it will be. I feel like there will be other things that do the same thing at a lower price point. So if you were very desperate to try this, don't let me put you off, but I don't think I would rush out to purchase it. On to the body products. The Necessaire body wash was absolutely fine, lathered up nicely. One of those sort of nondescript products, you know, nothing wrong with it, but nothing amazing about it. So I'm not going to go and purchase it because there are other shower gels that I prefer. But if I had it again, I would use it up again. I didn't dislike it, but it was just pretty anodyne. Body moisturiser, I finished up this little, I say finished up, I mean as a body moisturiser, this was like a one-use product. Mini Melanin Gats Vitamin B5 body moisturiser. Kind of similar to that body wash, like absolutely fine, but just not remotely offensive, but also not remotely exciting. Like, I don't think I would go and repurchase this. I would rather have something that is either, you know, like a vitamin C or a brightening or doing something, or even just that has a really good smell. You know, this just kind of was fine. That's the best I can say about it. It was absolutely fine. There was nothing wrong with it. But I think there are other things that are better. Finally, I've got two foot products. First product was this foot peel. So I've talked about these before. I think what I'm going to do the next time I use one is actually do a video and document the process, because I'm always recommending these to everyone. Like, these are amazing. The way that you have like new feet after you use these just blows my mind every single time. But it's quite a graphic process, so I feel like I will just put it in a video and people who are not grossed out by that can go watch and enjoy, and people who don't want to look at videos of feet can just click on by, you know. But I think you really need to see the results of these to believe them. They're so good. And then my foot cream, again, this was the last of my Project Pan items. Beautify Footopia. I really like this. I don't really want to get a Beautify membership at the moment. I feel like if I sign up for a membership, I will start wanting to buy more than I would have bought had I not had to pay for a membership. Do you know what I mean? But I did really like this foot cream. I could see myself maybe when I need more things and have worked through more of my collection, signing up to Beautify, to actually when I have things that I genuinely need to replace, to do that. But I feel like for the sake of two products, which would be this and my under eye corrector, I just don't know if I want to sign up for a membership. But I did really like this foot cream. I'm half tempted to sign up for a membership and buy like 3 bottles of this and my under eye corrector and then cancel it, and that should like do me for a little while, because I think this genuinely is the best foot cream I've ever used. But the whole Beauty Pie membership thing just really puts me off. I know loads of people like go on about it and do adverts for it and love it, but I feel like for me, I have had problematic tendencies in the past with shopping. That's what I talk about most of the time on my channel, is trying to use things up and get this collection under control after growing it far too large, because I got quite addicted to shopping at a point. But I feel like if I was paying for a membership to be allowed to shop somewhere, I feel like for me that would get me into the habit of, or it would get me into the mindset of wanting to justify having spent that money on the membership. But the foot cream was great, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, in total for my skincare, in Q1 I used up 19 items worth $412.06, and that is the end of my empties. So I'm going to go do all the paperwork for this, and then I will do another video updating you on how my goals are going, how my inventories have updated between what I might have brought in Q1, which there wasn't very much of, versus what we've used up. So that I think will be my next video. So do stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!